So first, let's just look at it on piano again. We start here. We're going to do this. Okay, we're going to start it from down here. So we got 3, 5, 7, 2. And then we're going to go to the F, that's your E minor 7th, then to the F, F major 7th. Okay, now we're going to pick it up from the A box. So that was the C box. And we're going to A box G7. It's really not that much to play here. Now we're going to go to A minor 7th. Like there. And we're going to pick back up the B half diminished 7th in the G box. Okay, but remember, the good thing about the situation is no matter where you start, you just follow the circle around. Okay, so you follow the circle around no matter where you start on that fretboard, on that guitar fretboard. You know, you could start G7 down here if you want, or way down here or something. You know, you could start the G7 one here and just play that G7. Then you go to A minor 7th. Let's see. The G7 we would go, okay, so looking at the fretboard, we'd have our 5, 7, 2, 4. That's our G7. Then what we're going to do, A minor 7th. So then we go right up to 6. You know, we're doing the same thing, but it's only a coincidence that we're doing the same thing. Okay, so no matter where you start, you just follow the major scale is the first note of those modals. So it's like saying the major scale is the first note of the minor of the modal scales. Except I don't have a 94 key piano, so we skip the F major 7th and we go to the G7, then A minor 7th, then B half diminished 7th, then C major 7th, then D minor 7th. Okay, and the other one I don't have the E minor 7th, but that's all of them. So that's how we relate it. So no matter where you start on your keyboard, you're pretty much going to cover 2 positions per, and then we want to relate it to the fretboard. So here I have, here's the A box. Of course, the A box is composed of the C box and the G box, half of each, and you get the A box. Here's your A box: 5, 6, 7, 2, 3, 5, 6. Root 2, 3, 5, 6. In the key of C, or in any key. If you look at the A, the real deal A, it's the same thing. 5, 6, 7, 5, 6, root 2, 3, 5, 6, root 2, 3. Let's see, it'd be pentatonic, right? So it'd be 5, 6, root 2, 3, 5. 6 root 2, 3, 5, 6. Okay, sorry about that. So you get into all these different things, and then going back to the easy pentatonic, they're not ready for it. But that's your A shape right there. Okay, the long pattern would be A would go into the G pattern. There's your G pattern there. Okay, so it's just your G-shaped A. Okay. Alright, so what I've got here on this pattern, here's our A pattern. I just played it. Okay, where I played it, these are where the notes are. So see this 5? That would be down here. So this 5 is this guy, and we got line through. Line through that 5 is right there. Okay, that's what I'm showing you in this little particular focus on the chart. So we've got 5, and then 6 is right there, is note in between lines, so it's in the white. And then 7 we have line through again. So that's your, in the key of C, that's B. Then we have lower root, which is C on the lower register. This is the lower clef, this is the upper clef. Middle C is here. Notice we don't have C on the upper clef there. We only get up to the A there. There's the A. Here's C on the upper clef. Go over here to the E box. There's our middle C right there. There's upper C rather on the treble clef. So that's why the E and the G box are a good place to read music, because you have in the G box here, you have the lower root, the upper root, and in the E box you have middle root there, and in the G box you have middle root there. So we've got a lot of good things that we can see. All right, let's look at those two boxes right here. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. All right, are we getting them all in the G box? Okay, our G stuff is up here. All right, so we're not looking at this. All right, and we're not looking at this. We're just looking at these guys right here. We're not looking at, whoa, we're not looking at this. This is all we're looking at right here. So it's a good place to read music, because you're starting from lower C. You've got this B to middle C to upper C. Okay, this is also upper C. So you know how guitar has kind of like repeating notes. So the middle C line is the E line, 7 root 2. So it's 7 root 2. Okay, and then it starts again 7 root 2. That's the middle C line. That's in between the clefs line. So we have the upper clef is up here in string shapes, the lower clef is down here in string shapes, and middle C is the root part of 7 root 2, and that's the same thing here, middle root, middle root, middle root, middle root, middle root. So this is the lower clef down here, this is the upper clef, and this line, 7 root 2, 7 root 2, 7 root 2, this is the this is the in-between clefs. So this note sits on top of the bass clef, this note sits on below, the D sits below the treble clef, and the middle C is right there in the middle. Again, this is a good place, the G box and the E box, to read music, okay? Because you've got upper root here on the treble staff where C is. You've got lower root here on the bass clef where lower C is. So you got from here, and you got everything in between, and you just play it in the G box and the C box. So you can play in the key of, but it has to be in the key of C, if I'm not mistaken. So it has to be in the key of C if you're going to play this part of the fretboard. Now, if we wanted to play in the key of G, to play in the key of G, we're going to look at this diagram right here. That's key of A, sorry. Where's key of G? Right here, key of G. So we want to play in the key of G. Here's the G box here. Okay, and we have to make sure that we get the lines and the notes right. So G would be looking at the lower E becomes the sixth. That's why the G shape is 6-7 root, G string shape. So it's 6-7 root 2 3 4 5 6 7 root 2 4 5 6 7 root. That's the key of G, and it goes into the key of E. 7 root 2 3 4 5 6 7 root 2 3 4 5 6 7 root 2. That's the E box for the key of G. So we would have to assign what? This lower 6 is going to have a line through it. As usual, the lower E is a line through note. Now, where is that note? Okay, so the lower E in the key of C is the 3, is a line through note, and the C note in the C box in the open C is a line through middle root. If we're playing in the key of G, this becomes the 6th, and this becomes the 4. Okay, so what we have here is, here's our key of G, it's 6-7 root kind of thing, so we'd have here 6-7 root. Now notice, to go to the 5th, you move the pattern down. So here's the 6-7 root right here, anyway. But we have to, we want to maintain the same note polarity, right? So if this is the 6th, the line through becomes the 6th there. The 6 is going to have a line through it. We can move the pattern down, but if we want to match it directly to the staff, see, now we're kind of, confined to the staff. I had to make things match the staff. Then we would have to put a line through the 6, but we'd still be playing 6-7 root 2 3 4 5 6. We move that pattern down. So we'd take that pattern and we'd move it down to play in the key of G, right? Like that. But, additionally, the problem is that we also have warping effects. So we can move the pattern down, but we can't move everything we play on the fretboard down. We have to play the same pattern. So we'd be starting 6-7 root, and then our 7 would be over here. Okay, and I just happen to be able to play that on my bass baritone guitar. So that's pretty much the crux of things. We'll get back to this topic in the future, in the next lessons. Until then, it just suffices to say, usually we're going to be looking at a low G7. And this is the way they play. G goes to A, goes to B, goes to C. For in between notes in between lines, and then for strike through notes, we go A minor 7th to B to C to D. It just follows the amazing circle of every other ivory note in 7th chords. Hey, it's been a great lesson. It's time to kind of like call it a day for lessons. Like and subscribe. There's a URL put together to get to the Facebook group, and anyone can view the group. And we'll see you next time. It's been a great lesson.